Lila was a curious little girl. She lived in a small village near Eldenwood forest.
Every day after school, I would rush to the woods. The trees were my friends. The birds sang just for me.
She loved to climb the tallest oak and look out over the treetops. Lila knew every path in the forest. She could name all the flowers and birds.
The squirrels would eat nuts from my hand. Even the shy deer would come close to me. I felt at home among the whispering leaves and soft moss.
The other children thought Lila was strange. They preferred to play in the village square, but Lila didn't mind. She had secrets that only the forest knew, like the hidden pool where fairies danced at night, or the hollow tree where an owl family lived.
One sunny afternoon, I decided to explore a new part of the forest. I packed my little backpack with snacks and my favorite book.
As she walked deeper into the woods, the trees seemed to grow taller. The air felt different, filled with magic and mystery. Little did Lila know, this day would change everything. As Lila ventured further, she came to a clearing she had never seen before. Sunlight streamed through the leaves, creating patterns on the forest floor. In the center stood an ancient tree, its trunk twisted and gnarled.
I approached it, feeling drawn by some unseen force. I circled the tree, running my hand over its rough bark.
Suddenly her fingers caught on something. It was a small golden key, half buried in the wood.
I gently wiggled it free. It was unlike any key I had ever seen. It sparkled in the sunlight, covered in strange symbols.
Lila's heart raced with excitement. What could this key open? She looked around the clearing, searching for a lock, but there was nothing but trees and flowers. She slipped the key into her pocket, determined to solve this mystery.
Follow the path of golden leaves.
Lila blinked in surprise. She looked down and saw a trail of shimmering golden leaves leading deeper into the forest. Without hesitation, she set off on this magical path. Lila followed the golden leaves, her heart pounding with excitement. The path twisted and turned through the forest. It led her to places she had never seen before. Ancient trees with faces carved into their trunks watched her pass. Flowers that glowed like rainbow jewels lined the way.
Finally, the trail ended at the foot of a small hill. I looked around, confused. There was nothing here but grass and rocks, but then I noticed something odd. One of the rocks had the same strange symbols as the key.
Her hands shaking, Lila pressed the key against the rock. With a rumble and a groan, the rock began to move. It rolled aside, revealing a hidden door set into the hillside. The door was made of old wood, green with moss. More symbols were carved around its edges.
My eyes widened in wonder. I took a deep breath and pushed the door open.
It swung inward with a creak, revealing a dark passage. Cool air rushed out, smelling of dust and secrets. Lila hesitated for a moment, then stepped inside. She was too curious to turn back now. The door swung shut behind her and she was plunged into darkness. Section 4. Treasures in the Secret Chamber.
Fumbling in her backpack, Lila found her little torch. She switched it on, its beam cutting through the darkness. She was in a long tunnel, its walls smooth and damp. Walking forward, her footsteps echoed. The tunnel sloped downward, leading her deep underground. After what seemed like hours, the tunnel opened into a large chamber.
Lila gasped in amazement. The room was filled with treasures. Golden coins spilled from open chests. Jewels sparkled on velvet cushions. Ancient weapons and armor stood on racks along the walls. But something else caught Lila's eye. In the center of the room, on a stone pedestal, sat a large book. Its cover was made of worn leather, decorated with the same symbols as the key. Lila approached it, drawn by an unseen force. She felt that this book was the real treasure.
With trembling hands, Lila opened the book. Its pages were yellowed with age, covered in beautiful writing and colorful pictures. As she began to read, she realized what she had found. This was no ordinary book. It was the lost history of her village, filled with magical tales and forgotten legends.
Section 5. The Book of Village History.
Sitting down on the floor, Lila forgot all about the gold and jewels. She was lost in the stories of the book. It told of how her village was founded by brave explorers. They had made friends with the magical creatures of Eldenwood Forest. Together, they had built a community of humans and forest beings. The book spoke of great heroes and wise leaders. It told of battles against dark forces that threatened the village. There were stories of magical artifacts, like the very key Lila had found. Each tale was more exciting than the last. Lila read for hours, unable to tear herself away.
As she read, Lila began to understand why these stories were so important. They showed how her village and the forest were connected. They explained customs and traditions that no one remembered anymore. Lila knew she had to share these stories with everyone. With great care, she closed the book and lifted it from its pedestal. It was heavy, but she held it close. She left the other treasures behind. They didn't matter compared to the knowledge in this book. Lila made her way back through the tunnel, her mind buzzing with all she had learned. Section 6. Lila becomes the village storyteller.
When Lila emerged from the hidden door, the sun was setting. She hurried back to the village, clutching the precious book. Her parents were worried sick. But when Lila showed them the book and explained her adventure, they were amazed. Word spread quickly through the village.
That night, everyone gathered in the village square. Lila stood on a platform, the book open before her. In a clear voice, she began to tell the first story. The villagers listened in wonder as tales of their forgotten past came to life. Children sat wide-eyed, while elders nodded in recognition of long-lost memories.
From that day on, Lila became the village storyteller. Every evening, people would gather to hear a new tale from the book. The stories brought the village closer together. They reminded everyone of their connection to Eldenwood Forest and its magic. Customs and festivals that had been forgotten were revived. Lila's discovery changed everything. The village became known for its rich history and magical tales. Visitors came from far and wide to hear the stories, and Lila, once thought strange for her love of the forest, was now cherished by all. She had unlocked not just a hidden door, but the heart of her community.